And greetings once again, primitive Earth humans. Welcome to another episode of Kerbal Space Program, version 1.1. Yes. In our last episode, we completed our Minmus mission, which was pretty cool. That came off pretty damn good, if you ask me. We earned a crap ton, as we could see. 1122 science. Probably could have earned some more. I think there was probably a few little sciencey things that I probably missed and stuff like that. But yeah, we got all this science to spend. We got 1.387 million Kerbal bucks, whatever they call their money. But anyway, let's see. Let's spend some of this science. So I think, the more science stuff we can unlock will probably be the better. We got adapters here, stack separators, these Clampotron docking port. I think we're definitely going to need that. We're going to need that there Clampotron docking port thingamadingy if we are to build ourselves any kind of space station-y stuff. So let's unlock the poop out of that one. We've got let's continue to go for sciencey stuff, because if you go down this bottom sort of bunch of stuff and unlock as much science, especially the instruments, any science instrumentation that allows you to collect more science, of course that will be helpful in earning more science for the unlocking of all the rest of this other crap. So let's see, photovoltaic panels, these are the big ones that unfold. We definitely want the poop out of those. That's 160 science to research the crapski out of that. We're going to take it. Propidobidine hex, what is this? More core compatibilities far beyond its steel six-sided futuristic casing. This probe core provides advanced guidance assistance technology. It comes fitted with internal reaction wheels and decently sized batteries, despite concerns that one day autonomous spacecraft cores could be more self-aware and turn against their creators. Yes, attack of the intelligent robots. The robots will probe you in the butt. If you are not careful, okay, or even become stubborn against opening pod bay doors. Yes, Propidobidine insists that these unmanned AI-driven devices are the way of the future. So let's see. I don't know. It's 160 science. Do we need it? Do we need it? Well, what else do we got here? We've got Seismics Accelerometer. Ah, yes, this is an extremely sensitive accelerometer sensor, which when properly settled on a firm surface will detect and record accurate seismic activity. That's another science collecting type of thingamadingy. So we probably do want to get the poop out of that. That's 300 science to get that. What do we have here? High-powered electronics, fuel cells, rechargeable battery banks, a Giganator XL solar array. I think we're going to get this accelerometer thingamadingy, Communotron, another sort of communication antenna. Allows for far more reliable communication at longer ranges. Okay, yes, that would be a good thing to do. So what do we got? We got 572 left to get. What else we got? We got command modules for, I think, bigger rockets. I don't think we need to go much bigger just yet. Okay, and another thing it looks like we do already have is we have the mobile processing lab, science processing lab, and because of all the Kerbals we've been rescuing and stuff, we got plenty of scientists we can send up and stick inside of this thing. So we've got that. Not quite sure what we should get next. We could get some of these larger rocket parts, but I don't think we're going to need it just yet. Here we've got the Spark and the Ant, and the another fuel tank there. Maybe we get that heavy rocketry. Is this the Poodle, the Skipper, and the Kickback? I think we're going to go ahead and we'll unlock that. We will unlock this for 90 science. And what do we got here? Advanced construction. I think Airstream protective shell. I think this is like the fairing type of dealio. We may be needing that, so sure, 90 science. We'll get this whole row done here. We've got 300 science left for the getting. I think we are going to go ahead and we'll go with this one right here, precision engineering, just to get this Propidobidine hex. And we've got 142 science left, and I think that's going to do it for us. We don't have enough science to unlock anything else. But yeah, that gives us a whole bunch of new parts and stuff for the doing of things and stuff and junk. yes, and let's go ahead and upgrade our launch pad. That's only 282,000. There, now that's fully upgraded. We won't have to worry about the size of things. Save the poop out of the game. Ka-ching. Right now, I think we've got this Mimus debris kind of floating around there. I'm just going to terminate that. Ka-ching. Blow it the poop up because space junk is a pain in the arsehole for having around. And but I think what we're going to do is we've got, let's see, we've still got a couple of rescue missions to do here. Katie's wreckage. Look at this one here. This is a tricky looking one right there. Because if you notice, this wreckage is going in the opposite direction of our normal orbit. So that might be a real interesting one to try and do. It's going to require that we launch in the opposite direction, launching against the spin of the planet, to where normally we launch, you know, to the easterly direction, which we're taking advantage of the rotation of the planet to kind of kick us up off the planet. We're going to be traveling against that, so it's going to take a heck of a lot more delta V to get there, and it's pretty wide out orbit there too. So I think maybe we'll try to do this here rescue mission and see if we can successfully do it. It's tricky. I've never done one of those before. I've never launched in an orbit opposite the direction of spin. We'll go to rescue 1 here. Groove Tastical. I think what we're going to need to do here, we're going to get rid of these guys. Okay, we're going to get rid of all this stuff here, and I think perhaps I don't want to use the solid boosters because I don't want to have such fast acceleration that we burn this thing up. Hopefully this T400 fuel tank interior will be enough. You know, maybe it's not going to be quite enough. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add a little bit more fuel to it. We're just going to put another one of them guys on there. Just a tiny bit more of the fuelness. And okay, let's bring this, oops. Oh, that's right, we've got our probodobidine is what's steering the poop out of all this thing. And okay. Let's go with a deal like this, and we're just going to temporarily stick it there so we can kind of copy what we have there. We're going to go with the Reliant instead of the swivel, which, as I understand, is just a little bit more efficient in the atmospheric flight. We've got our swivel so that we can kind of steer the rocket. We don't really need that on these exterior boosters, so we'll go with that. And let's see, let's go to Aerodynamics, and we'll put we've got these fancy, more pointier nose cones on there, so that'll be, I think, hopefully 2 of these will be enough to get this thing up there. We're going to find out, I guess, aren't we? So, okay, one thing we're going to do is let us grab ourselves some of these winglets. We'll go with the 4-way symmetry, and we'll pachoing those suckers down on there. We're going to go with TT38K radial decouplers, and I'm going to stick, let's see, what? 2-way symmetry is what we want on there. We'll stick those suckers, should I guess right about here up top, sort of type of deal there. Put these guys on there. Make sure we get them as centered as possible, and yes, okay. That looks pretty good. And I think now what we're going to do is we're going to go back to our fuel systems, and yes, we're going to do a little kind of asparagus staging type of thing here. I think, you know, hopefully that will work. And I don't know, I am fully just sort of guessing that this is going to be enough. Let's get Jebediah out of there. We want to send an anti-command pod up there, because it will be coming back with a Kerbal. And this is, we will call this guy Rescue 3. And save the poop out of it. And okay, first of all, let's let's fix our staging here. Is all already placed. Okay, this Like, yes, we need a stage. Oops. Right here, we're gonna move that up there. So, okay, fire all of our engines in the first stage. Then we want to decouple these guys, and then we want to decouple. Then we want to drop off our launch stage there. Then we want to be able to fire that one, and lastly, decouple the orbital tanks there. And yes, finally fire our parachutes. That should be pretty good for our staging, hopefully. And boy, I don't know. Like I say, I'm totally guessing on this, and I'm hoping this is going to be enough to take off in reverse of the planet's spin and compensate for that. Hopefully that'll be enough to compensate for it. Get this thing into orbit and get it out to the orbit of our where our rescue mission is. And oh, look how pretty our our launch pad is now. The track running out to it. Oh, fully upgraded launch pad. Muy awesome. Awesome sauce. Okay, so yes, we did save this. Let us go ahead and head on out to the launch pad. Okay, sweet. Let's hit our map mode here. And where is Katie's? There's Katie's wreckage. Set that as target. So, yeah, and what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to take off in this direction. So we're going to be kind of clicking our A button so we can head off towards the left there. And, okay, let's go ahead and launch this thing. I guess we're going to have to go full for a while. Yeah, we'll just have to go full, I guess, because all three of them. And, ooh, T to hit our SAS. Definitely got to do that. Oh boy, we're going to see how this is going to work. It's going to take us a while here before we actually have this reversed. And don't want to roll over too much. Hopefully the friction won't blow us up. We got a little bit of a wobble. I suppose that might have helped to put some kind of a stabilizer strut there. Run out of fuel on our liquid boosters there into our main stage here. I think we're going to be okay. I think we'll be able to get to orbit now. Okay, I'm going to start trying to maybe compensate for this inclination a little bit too. And oops, I need to point in the opposite direction there. Oops, I always do that too. I always get that backwards. And how are we doing? 85,000, sure, okay. Groovy. We have exited the atmosphere now. That's what that little bit of music says right there. I don't want to get too much of an inclination. Hopefully we'll be close to matching it. I didn't bother to wait until we had an ascending or descending node over us when we launched, so I'm just kind of eyeballing it, just kind of going by feel here. Our periapsis is going to start coming up. So maybe point this a little bit under the horizon there. And what? Did we run out of juice? I think we actually... It says we have fuel left in our thing, but I think that might be in the rest of the module here is what we're seeing there. So, okay. Groovy. So we're just going to need to do a little bit of a burn here. Let's go ahead and do that burn when we get to our apoapsis here. Let's do a little bit of a normal burn in order to make it an adjustment on our inclination there. Again, I'm just kind of eyeballing it. Okay, give it a little bit of a squirt just to make sure. And it looks like we're gonna need about a 24-second burn. And we'll wait till about 12 seconds before our node, then we'll hit that full. And 15, 14, 13, 12, and we'll just hit Z. Wait for our periapsis to come up. And I hope there's gonna be enough fuel left in this thing. And let's see, okay. Good enough. And sure, you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep it well short of the orbital line there. so that we have different speed, because we're going to need to rendezvous. And I think Katie's wreckage is going to have to, we're going to have to catch up to it. So we'll go ahead and perform this burn. Yeah, about a 39-second burn. Let's point ourselves along the vector. And Grotestical, and well, we'll go ahead and warp to that maneuver, I think. And boom, let's hit it. And okay. Now it starts coming out really fast, so yeah, we gotta throttle way down. Way down. Yeah, but we'll call that good. And this should come out pretty quickly. Oh yeah, so we're getting an encounter with the Mun there. Hopefully that'll go away. Okay, there we go. Good. And okay, we'll call that good for now. And there we go. Okay, 9 kilometers is probably about as good as it's gonna get for us there. Okay, let's turn our SAS on. Point along our burn vector. Whoa. And let's warp to this maneuver here. Go ahead and do our burn. And alright, so what's that looking like? 63,000. Let's give it just a quick little squirt. And I think we went maybe too far. I think what we're going to have to do, go back to our craft here and just like severely thrust limit this thing. Down to about maybe 20%, sure. Back to map view. Let's turn around 180. Point towards retrograde here. And see if we can just tweak that. Okay, too far. Let's turn our SAS off. And we're just going to go ahead and warp around to this point in our orbit. Closest approach that we can get. And maybe we'll do a maneuver right about here. See if we can push this close approach to the other side somewhere. Okay, let's just warp as close to this point as it. Let's see. Let's warp to right about here. And we're just going to have to brute force it the rest of the way. Okay, now. Let's bring our thrust limiter back up to about 50% there. And let's see, where is she now? Let's rotate around to point at Katie's wreck. There we go. SAS on. And there she is, about 8.5 kilometers, so I think we're going to have to start thrusting towards her. Going past again. And let's push that retrograde marker. There we go. And coming about 3 or 4 meters per second, we can just kind of, I think at this point, just sort of wait until we get a little closer. Time accelerate forward just a little bit. There we go. We've got visual sight of the capsule now. Sweet, and there's Katie's wreckage. And we're gonna go ahead and EVA Katie at this point. Sweet, and turn on her. Oh, let's let go and turn on her RCS. And let's get her over to our rescue capsule. Oops. Turn her light on. There we go. Whoa, 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 whoa. Up. Back up a little bit. Boy, I sure suck at RCS flight. But let's see. Okay, great. Let's come back a little bit. Let's go down just a little bit. Yeah, can't you grab? Nope, almost had it. Come on there, Katie. There we go, grab her on and board her in. Sweet. Boy, that was tricky. Tricky getting the orbits to match up. I don't know how many freaking days it took me. And how many, several dozen orbits to get it just right. To get it lined up there. But let's go back to our map view now. And let's see, where are we at? I think now all we really gotta do is just find our retrograde vector. And we'll set our focus back on Kerbin. And switch to our orbital view. And okay, let's point the ship retrograde. There we go. Whoa. There we go, and I think now hopefully we have enough fuel to do a deorbital burn. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. Whoa, and we're getting an encounter there. That will go away, excellent, okay. We don't want to have any problems with that. We'll get this down to about, just under about 30,000, I think is what we need for periapsis. Plenty of fuel for it. Let's go for maybe about 45,000. There we go. Call that good. And I think we're going to warp to about here. Oops. No, let's cancel that. We're on the wrong side. In fact, I want to warp to right about here. Okay. And we'll do another little bit of a retrograde burn from here. Probably burn up the rest of our fuel. Bring this apoapsis down so that we don't come in at quite such a steep angle. This periapsis is going to come down for us as we do this burn. When it gets to about 24,000, I'll probably stop the burn. Yeah, sure, I think that's probably good enough. And let's see. I think at this point, we can jettison this portion of the craft. And sweet. And the only thing left to do now is bring her down into the re-entry phase. So we'll time accelerate forward. Just about to hit the atmosphere, and there we go. Make sure we're centered, dead center on that retrograde. And we start getting under around 35,000, and we'll start shedding some speed, which is good. There goes the orbital stage of Rescue 1, blowing the hell up. I think we could probably turn our SAS off at this point. And the aerodynamics of that heat shield will do its thing for us there. Sweet. Coming down, 15,000. And alrighty. I think the worst is past at this point. Under 250, let's jettison the heat shield and deploy the parachute. Heat shield will pop off as soon as that chute opens. She's looking a little bit nervous. They always look real nervous until that chute deploys. Let's switch to a surface speed here. And there we go. Chute opens and there goes our heat shield. Sweet. Now all we gotta do is bunk down safely like a feather into the agua. Yeah, sweet. Just like that. Alrighty, and we will go ahead and recover. Alright, and we crew report while flying over Kerbin's tundra. Oh, we got a couple of crew reports there. Sweet, sweet. So we earned a little bit, 3.5 science earned. A teeny tiny amount of science. And we recovered some parts there. And crew, ready for the next assignment. Katie Kerman, she's an engineer, and she's got a 1-star, advanced to level 1. Excellent. So we rescued the hell out of Katie Kerman, and that's a really tricky rescue mission. Going the opposite direction of the spin of the planet. That was my first time doing one of those. It was real tricky. Boy, I spent a lot of days up there in orbit, going back and forth and kind of seesawing, flying past, and then having Katie fly past the rescue craft, and I finally got things lined up for rendezvous. Real tricky to get a close rendezvous, when your orbit is so huge, way out beyond the orbit of the moons and things like that. But we managed to do it. And I think we had just enough fuel to do it. So I think my guesswork on our rocket was pretty good, I guess. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit that like button, comment, share, subscribe, follow me on Twitter, and always obey your alien overlords, or you will be probed in your bunghole. Yes. Once again, this is Alien Pet 13, signing off. Probe you later.